right, which makes sense because it's easier to access, and the fingerprint scanner is rectangularish now. It was awkward to use at first, but I've gotten used to it. Plus, it's really fast, so that helps. There's also the USB-C port and the headphone jack. To sum things up, the OnePlus 6 has a great design, but that is if you're okay with the notch. Now let's talk about the display. That looks really good, all thanks to an almost all-screen front. It's a 6.28-inch Full HD Plus Optic AMOLED display and it looks really good. I mean, the color reproduction is great, the viewing angles are good, and it's very bright, so sunlight visibility is on point. Also, if you don't like the colors on the display, OxygenOS gives you an option to adjust the color calibration, which is really cool. All things considered, I really love the display on the OnePlus 6. I mean, even with the notch. There are just no complaints there. I mean, watching movies on this display makes up for a great experience. But do the speakers on the OnePlus 6 complement the experience? Well, there are no stereo speakers here, which is sad, but the speakers on the OnePlus 6 are loud enough, and I like the fact that the sound does not distort even at max volume, so I guess it's decent enough. Next up, we have the cameras, which have undergone quite a few upgrades. The OnePlus 6 packs in a 16-megapixel f1.7 plus 20-megapixel f1.7 camera setup on the back. I know it sounds like the same camera from the OnePlus 5T, but there's OIS now, and the sensor is now larger. Enough specs though, let's check out what the cameras can do. As you can see, the photos from the OnePlus 6 have great colors, great detail, and decent dynamic range. The colors at times do seem a bit oversaturated, but I think it's fine. In low light, the OnePlus 6 captures a lot of light. Plus the colors are amazing and the photos have incredibly low noise. Here's one of my favorite photos because it was a moving shot and yet OnePlus managed to capture things perfectly. Compared to the OnePlus 5T, the OnePlus 6 cameras do seem better. Here are a few comparison shots. Overall, I think the OnePlus 6 camera captures great photos. Then there's portrait mode, which is kind of a mixed bag. The portrait mode here takes decent photos, especially in good light. But I don't like how the camera just smoothens out the details on the face. Also, the edge detection can be a little finicky. The problems persist in low light portrait mode shots too. Don't get me wrong, the portrait mode photos from the OnePlus 6 are decent, especially in good light, but don't expect much in low light. Moving on to videos, the OnePlus 6 captures 4K at 60 FPS, so I tried it out. And well, the video looks really great even though it's not as stable as I'd like. Plus, there are problems focusing. I also tried out 4K at 30 FPS and it has this weird problem. No matter how straight you keep the phone, the video is somehow always tilted. I have no idea what's wrong here, but hopefully OnePlus fixes it. Honestly, if you want stable, nice looking videos from the OnePlus 6, just shoot at 1080p. I mean, look at this. It's just way better than what you get in 4K. There's also super slow-mo video support, which is not as super because, hey, it's shooting at 480 frames per second, while super slow-mo on S9 and P20 Pro captures 960 frames per second. That's double. Having said that, the super slow-mo on OnePlus 6 brings a few advantages, like the ability to shoot 60 seconds of super slow-mo and choose which part to slow down. Here's a super slow-mo video we shot. Well, it looks cool, but this only works when there's ample light. Let's talk about the front camera now. On the front, there's a 16-megapixel f2.0 camera and it's pretty great. The selfies taken in good lighting have great detail. I mean, let's just zoom in on the face here. See? Also, the dynamic range is brilliant. In low light, the photos are fine, but the face just seems smoothened out due to noise. There's no portrait mode here, but OnePlus says it's coming very soon. Overall, the cameras on the OnePlus 6 are great. I mean, the portrait mode is average, just like on the 5 and 5T. But apart from that, the cameras on the OnePlus 6 are pretty good. And if you want to take an in-depth look at the camera of the OnePlus 6, do make sure to check out our camera review from the link in the description down below. Also, we will be putting the OnePlus 6 against other flagships, so stay tuned for that. Along with the great cameras, the OnePlus 6 also comes with great hardware on board. It's got top-of-the-line specs including the Snapdragon 845 and up to 8 gigs of RAM, which should translate into insane performance. And well, you guessed it, it does. The OnePlus 6 handles anything you throw at it. I mean, heavy games like PUBG Mobile, Marvel Future Fight, and Asphalt 8 don't even make this phone break a sweat. And since there's 8 gigs of RAM, multitasking on this phone is a breeze. I just love it. Honestly, I haven't faced a single stutter or lag on this phone, which is also due to OxygenOS on board, which is a bug-free and smooth experience. OnePlus 6 comes with OxygenOS on top of Android 8.1 Oreo, and I like it. OxygenOS is basically stock Android with added features, and I really appreciate that. I mean, I really like the features on OnePlus's skin. For instance, there's Face Unlock, which is really fast and works even in the dark, thanks to the assistive lighting feature. Beware though, it can blind you. There's also the native app locker, the cool dark theme, some handy gestures, and a lot more. There are also iPhone 10-like gestures here, which I'm not a fan of. I mean, the swipe up to home gesture is nice, but the multitasking gesture kind of feels slow. Other than that, OxygenOS handles the notch really well, and it's not just OxygenOS. I even found third-party apps and games working well with the notch. There was one exception, that was the WhatsApp status feature, but I think there should be an update soon. Coming back to OxygenOS, it's an Android skin that looks good and works really well. Plus, OnePlus is fixing the Android updates problem. I mean, Android P Beta is already available for the OnePlus 6, which is just amazing. Speaking of amazing, Dash Charge. OnePlus's charging technology is no doubt the fastest of them all. In fact, we even saw that in our ultimate fast charging battle video. The OnePlus 6 goes from 15 to 70% in just half an hour and charges fully in just around 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's awesome. It's a 3300 mAh battery here, like the 5 and 5T, and when it comes to battery performance, the OnePlus 6 performs fairly well. I mean, starting my day at 100%, the OnePlus 6 would be around 40%